So we dealt with natural attachments, we've dealt with real property and personal property and fixtures, but what are trade fixtures? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen from Cyberland? Coming back to you with another educational video in the world of real estate. And as I said in my intro, we've talked about so many different things in regards to property, what's personal, what's not, what's technically part of the home, what's not. How do we proceed? So now we're going into another thing in regards to fixtures, and we're dealing with trade fixtures. And what are they? Why do we have them? So a trade fixture is something that it necessarily isn't a fixture in regards to you, it's a fixture in regards to your tenant. So let's say, for example, you have a property that you don't live on, but it's your property, and your tenant has decided to, vacate. They're either getting a home or they're moving somewhere else. The point is they're leaving. But they had some things on the property that was theirs, that was attached to the home, that they had installed or they had done on the property, of course with your acknowledgement, because if they didn't, that's another problem. And they're deciding to leave with it. So this could be, they had a desk installed attached to the wall. They had a television installed to be on the wall. They had, a shoe shelf attached in the closet or something that wasn't there before, and they're deciding to take those things with them. Well, even though you may not appreciate that, they can take it with them, and you can't stop them, because even though it is a fixture that was attached to the property, it was theirs, and they don't own the property, but those things that they attach to it, they can walk out the door with it. However, because they attach those things to the property, such as the desk, such as the shoe shelves in the closet, such as the TV mount, the damages. See, so in order to remove those, they're gonna remove the drill holes and all those things. They have to take those things off and remove the screws and how they got them in. That means that, of course, when you drill something into a wall, you're gonna leave a mark. When you remove it, there's going to be a mark. That's where the situation can get tricky for them, not so much for you. So what that means is what's going to have to happen is, if you want to fight about it, they are going to have to make repairs to the damage they did when they removed those fixtures. You don't have to technically do anything, or it could be a situation where you can pull from their security deposit, but of course you can't just do that. You're gonna have to go through the process with the court and make sure you know your rights and they have their rights in regards to getting that money. Because if they don't make the repairs, you're gonna have to make the repairs, and that means the walls they attach everything into, that might have to be painted. That might have to be removed. Wall might have to be removed and put a new wall in, depending on the damage for removing those things. But they are entitled to those things that they attach to the property, and they can remove them, but you are entitled to, as the owner, that you need to be compensated, or they have to pay to have those things fixed. That's how it goes. And that's from a business standpoint. It could be other things. Let's say the room didn't have a ceiling fan and they had one installed, and they paid for everything. They technically can take that ceiling fan with them when they leave the home or the apartment or the condo. But they now have to pay to have those things removed, meaning the wiring. If they got your permission to do all that stuff, and they paid for it, and you just said they can do it, and they paid for it, but they're taking it with them, Well, that means that the electrician that came in, they have to pay to have all that stuff removed. They have to pay to have the ceiling redone. Whatever damage was done installing the fan, all those things that were done, they have to completely have that stuff removed and paid for. Or they can just leave it. See, the thing about this, when I say this, the situation about trade fixtures is, pick and choose your battles. The house you were living in didn't have a ceiling fan. Do you really want to fight over this $200 ceiling fan? Now, if you had all the work done, I get it. But at the same time, you probably shouldn't have had all the work done if you weren't going to stay there. You got, even with a tenant, and why trade fixtures, the law was invented for it. It's because it sounds to me like, when I look back on this terminology, is that there were a bunch of people being really petty. And this was invented to break down a lot of this pettiness. Because when you look at the terminology of it, it's just like, really? Like, you installed a desk or a shelf and you're taking it with you? Did you have to do that? Why do you have, but also could be the owners are like, I want it removed, and they have that right. What if the tenant never asked and did it anyway? They have to leave the house as when they first walked into it, so that, so it can be tricky. A lot of things to consider. So with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one.